Hello, hello, beautiful humans. You are here to think out loud with me. I am Natalie Peterson, casting in from my little neck of the woods in northern Colorado to you in yours, wherever and whenever that might be. This digital adventure is my solution of turning years of internal chatter, wondering, silent suffering, and physical and mental close calls into enlightening and empowering conversations with others. Laska. Lyubov, Miłość, Ahava, Sherlek, Lifta, Ashk, Agapi, Upindo, Pyar, Sarang, I, Amor, Amore, Liba, Amur, Iroha, love. Love in every language is the same profound emotion that transcends words and cultural differences. It is a universal experience that speaks to our shared humanity, bridging gaps and dissolving barriers. In every tongue, love is understood, felt, and celebrated as the most fundamental human emotion. Love as a universal truth transcends time, culture, and existence, binding all living beings in a shared experience of connection and care. It is the fundamental force that drives humanity towards empathy, compassion, and understanding. Love exists in every culture, every religion, and every heart as an undeniable truth that unites us all. It is the essence of life itself, guiding relationships, inspiring acts of kindness, and fostering peace. In its purest form, love is an unspoken language that resonates within every soul, reminding us of our shared humanity and our intrinsic need to give and receive affection. As a religion, love is not bound by rituals or dogmas. Rather, it's practiced through acts of kindness, forgiveness, and selflessness. In this faith of love, the heart is the sacred temple, and every soul is cherished, every life revered. My guest today believes love can and will be the currency of the future. He is on a mission to prove to the world how important love is and how it holds the key to moving humanity forward. Folks, welcome Aidan Uttinger, a lifelong seeker who is completely devoted to finding solutions to the world's most pressing problems in a way that others have not done before. Aidan is a driven, passionate, and creative entrepreneur looking to be the first person to figure out how to spread love and abundance to the farthest corners of the earth through technology and business. His life mission is called The World's Greatest Experiment, and it was born as a result of Aidan's crazy journey. It was inspired by incredible people he met along the way who gave him love and lifted him up when he needed it the most. His story is amazing. The World's Greatest Experiment is amazing. And I'm going to let him share the details so that you can truly appreciate who Aidan is as a human being, doing right by his world. Aidan, I'm thrilled to think out loud with you and let others listen in. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. What an awesome intro. It's
Ah,
nice to be here.
awesome, awesome. I promised before I hit record that I promised that I wanted to hear your story from you personally because reading it touched me. I think that folks that listen to this cast appreciate it for the the realness of what it means to be human and to find our way even when it feels like there's absolutely zero chance of us doing it, right?
Mhm.
And I feel that
Yeah.
in your story. I feel that. So I would love if you would just share with folks who are listening in how did you get to be Aidan today?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the best place to start is, I grew up from New Zealand, and I grew up in a poor family back there, which would be considered pretty dysfunctional at the time. And, nothing about my childhood just seemed it just didn't feel right to me. It just felt like there was answers, or there was a truth, or there was something that was just off, and it always made me just want to go out and see if I could find what it was that was just, what the truth was. And anyway, I ended up running away or leaving home just before my 16th birthday. Um, I went to Australia, which is as far away as you could run away to from New Zealand at that age. And I was in Australia for a little while, trying to make my way, and got into a bit of a sticky situation, and realized I needed to do some sort of a 180 or something just crazy out of the box. And what came to me was to spin a globe and put my finger on it and just move wherever I landed, because it just felt like I was so far away from the truth. Or I was like, I just need to do something that's so out of the box of what I would normally do, and that will give me the best possible chance of being closer to where I was supposed to be.
Mm.
So I did that, and I landed on the Philippines. And prior to that, I had no idea where the Philippines was. And yeah, long story short, I booked a ticket. I Once I had that in mind of going there, I worked really hard for a couple of months to save up a little bit of cash to make sure I had some money when I was there. And I ended up in the Philippines. And after a while there, I was an illegal alien. I was there pretty much stranded without any money or any way out. And a Filipino family that I met there by chance just took me in, and yeah, gave me love, took me into their family, unofficially adopted me as their Kiwi son. And I had three Filipino brothers, two sisters. There was like 66 cousins at last count, but I think there's a lot more now. Um, and yeah, one day I was sitting with my Filipino dad in the garden, and I just said to him, I said, "How could I ever repay you for saving my life?" And he just said that when you're in a position to pay that kindness forward to somebody, consider your debt repaid. And was such a beautifully simple request, and I remember it just stuck with me since that moment, which is over 20 years ago now. It just stuck with me, this thought that one act of love to somebody who, it was out of the blue. It's from people that I didn't know before that. If I carried that on, it would continue through time, affecting infinite number of people through an infinite period of time. And it just struck me as such a powerful and beautiful request. And I made a promise to myself at that moment that I wanted to find a way to pay that love forward while they're still alive, so I can show them. I wanted to pay it forward not just to one person, but to as many as I possibly could, so that I could have some chance to be able to express to them the magnitude of love and gratitude that I felt in that moment. I didn't feel like me paying it forward to one person was enough, even though I know it was for them. So yeah, that's been like the driving force really, is figuring out a something that I can do, which can really pay homage to that love that I received from them, because changed the whole course of my life. I'm so
Hmm.
grateful for that.
Wow. I'm imagining a younger version of you, and just, for a 16-year-old, just a teenager, it's been a long time for me since those days. But to have been in a place of darkness, and to somehow, some way believe enough in yourself to dig your way out and find your way, talk about the universe taking care of you, and just love taking care of you, right? What a beautiful story to land in such a loving place that nurtured you, and it couldn't it was perfect. I mean, how could you have ever have known that out of such darkness like it could happen like this? It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it was beautiful, and I didn't know at the time. I was just doing what felt right, but I realize now, through through living a lot more life, that I was trusting my heart. At that stage, I didn't know that's what I was doing
Mm,
necessarily. But yeah, I've realized the importance of that now. This whole journey, sort of, my whole story has all been from me just following that guidance that come from the whole way. But I
Yeah.
realized I think the thing that I realized, which is really powerful, that they gave me, and I only realized this about 5 years ago, at the genesis of this project that I'm working on. And it was that they gave me a touch point of love at a moment when I didn't feel like I had it. And it just struck me as that's an incredible gift, because going through life, it's difficult. It's not easy all the time. We go through things, and I realized how lucky I was that I had that touch point of love. But it also made me think about the many people that find themselves in situations and they don't have that touch point of love at that moment. I mean, in New Zealand, where I'm originally from, we have the highest rate of suicide for young men in the world. And so that's something that's close to me personally. It's one example of these people that need a touch point of love and don't have access to it in the moment they need it the most. And so that's really the thing that I wanted to solve, is how can we build a bridge, or a connector that anyone who's going through a moment where they need love can plug in and get the love that they need.
Mm.
So we don't need to worry about anyone going without.
Yeah. Yeah. Or feeling like they don't have access to it enough. I mean, what comes to mind for me is that one touch of love. I think that that emotion from the heart and thinking from our heart brain, right?
Mhm.
That there has been, if there's a pendulum that has, in all of our in our worlds striving to be bigger, faster, more connected, information technology and all of the things that just move us, there has been a shift away from, and I'm not saying, everyone, but the heart-centeredness of our world has shifted. And I feel like these types of conversations with a human like you like the pendulum is trying to shift back to where we're thinking with our hearts. And if it's just one touch that can completely change a person's trajectory, that one touch is enough. And if we can get our heads up out of our phones and touching with the and having the awareness around us to be able to stop and touch someone in whatever way that might be. It might be a kind word, it might be a hand up, it might be dinner, it might be just, can I open the door for you? You just don't know what that one touch of love can, what change it can affect in a person's life.
Yeah, it's right. You never know. And I always try and live my life like that, like being aware of what are the little things, the little words, the smile, the whatever it is in life. But um, I think an area where it feels like almost there's a glitch in the matrix. You learn more about energy and realizing that when you're vibrating on a low frequency,
Mm-hmm.
you are the most disconnected from the very love that you would need to help you, get through that. So I felt like it would be so important to try and see if we can build a bridge for those people in
Mm-hmm.
that state, to sort of tap into that love on their terms when they need it, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And so the love farm concept was born. Am I
yeah,
in the right
yeah,
neck of the woods? I mean, now that just connected for me. Like there's this, I'm imagining a farm of energy, right? And that we're nurturing and growing and planting seeds. So at the heart of the world's greatest experiment is the love farm, and it built in the most economically challenged places in the world. The first two you have opened are in the Philippines, which are obviously close to your heart. Tell us what a love farm is. Give us the Aidan
yeah.
version.
Well, going back to the last point about needing to build a bridge, right, to connect people that needed love, when I started to think about what a solution would look like, it seems like what we need was a giant invisible pipeline of love that stretches all around the world, right? And we teach people how to turn the faucet on when they need it. So you can take as much love as you need when you feel you need it on your terms. And then perhaps later, when you have an abundance of it, you could fire it back out into this sort of network. And so that was the original concept. And essentially, what a love farm is I wanted to make sure that we had steady streams of love going all the time. And the more that I started to look at the problems that are out there in the world, namely poverty and malnutrition, and things that are really hit hard in third world countries, places like the Philippines where I was living. Um, you know, I read a statistic that there are more people now with access to smartphones and internet than there are clean water and basic sanitation, and it just amazed me. But I also sort of put two and two together and realize, wow, what if we could tap into these huge communities of people that are really struggling to take care of the people that they love the most because they don't have any employment opportunities. They don't, there's no work there. There's no education a lot of times. A lot of them are illiterate, But I realized they all know how to love. Like I've seen it firsthand. I mean, people gave it to me when I was there, but they all know how to love. And what a powerful thought that would be if we could get these communities to be the driving engine producing this love that was going out around the world to people that needed it. So yeah, that was the concept for the love farms and the world's greatest experiment. Simply that people who would like to receive love and around the world, who could be businesses or individuals or people that want to contribute and help people out of poverty, contribute to a charity or a nonprofit, they can contribute. And every time a love farmer completes a meditation for the people that are contributing to their cause, they get a digital credit, which is immediately able to be transacted in the community for anything that they might need at any of the local vendors. So essentially, what it allows them to do is convert their heart's energy into that whatever it is that they need in real time. There's no delay. They can literally meditate together and put food on the table, within minutes. So that's the concept of the love farm. Really, is by we generate this love that can go around the world and help people that need it by doing acts of love and lifting these people out of poverty, giving them the chance to take care of those that they love. It seemed like a beautiful full circle solution where everyone gets what they needed, and I
Absolutely.
believe people will get a lot of what they want as well.
That's beautiful. I love that. We all know how to love. We all need love. The receiving part is such a it's a topic that I've kind of had on the side of my radar around the asking for that, I receive love, I need love, raising my hand and saying, I could use love right now. That this feels the reciprocity, the reciprocal relationship, it feels like the asking and the giving becomes so much more fluid that it breaks down those barriers to I want to give, I don't know how, but if I just feed this pipeline, as you've said, this irrigation system of that's feeding this love farm, that my own world can be watered and nurtured and I can grow because of it. I have goosies thinking about the reciprocity of it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think the possibilities for what this can prove and how this can improve people's lives is really, really exciting for me. I love it. I
Yeah.
mean, the thought that in a place where they've got no ability to provide for their families, and people are dying in these communities. There is so many problems that could be solved with very little money.
Yeah.
But there's just no way out. The thought of them being able to take care of the what those and those that love by sending love and essentially turning love into a currency that provides for them is just, it gets me so excited. Like, I just
Yeah.
think it's such a beautiful picture to hold in my head of how their life can be transformed with love, because it takes
Yeah.
something that's so intangible, or so like it's hard to uh, you can't hold it. You can't, it's kind of this thing that we've never really measured. And so what this allows us to do is actually channel it collectively, direct it where it's got to go, and measure what happens at any point in the sort of ecosystem when somebody plugs into it and is either receiving love or sending love. We get to see what happens, and I
Yeah.
think that's where the world's greatest experiment part of the project comes in. Is like
Yeah.
what will happen when people are streaming love like this into their lives, and can we see measurable differences? Because then it gets really interesting, because people want to come in and they want the love too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way you get it is by helping others. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So explaining this, the the birthing of this project and this life's mission, I can imagine is like an overwhelming one. Just there's because you're dealing with something. I mean, there is science behind. There is science here, right? There, this isn't all woo woo. We know that love, that energetically, vibrationally, all of that there is measurable situations that we're growing plants, we're growing lives, we're right
Yeah.
coherent.
There's huge amounts of science coming out now, and it really is starting to show, like, prove the woo woo if you like, correct.
Mm-hmm.
But people are plants and trees growing faster and healthier, like the human body completely ridding itself of disease and mental illness, changing the structure of water, which obviously our body is whatever numbers you go with, but 70%, 80% water. It's like the science is there. I mean, we just don't know. It's really never been something we've been able to measure the love before, though. Like, where do you go to get 100,000 people sending you love, right? I mean, you wouldn't really know. So that's what this allows us to do. Our technology platform that we use to connect everybody, it allows us to measure how much love is coming in terms of time spent and the people, and eventually we'll be able to measure the frequency as well, which is exciting. But
Mm.
this is where I think it starts to become more sciencey. Is we can say, well, look, if you're streaming love to your farm, for example, what happens to your crop the year that it's streaming? If it's streamed 1 million love meditations throughout the year, what happens to the crop? Does your plants, do they grow faster? Do they grow healthier? Do they grow more abundantly? Um, and that's where I just think there's so many exciting avenues that we can go down with this, to see, like, can certain amounts of love heal certain diseases? Can certain amounts of love improve businesses? Can it help mental health? Can it? I mean, all the science suggests that it will, but we've never measured it at scale.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find in presenting this new methodology, this new way of giving, that what are the biggest obstacles that are put in front of you? Is it purely like, I don't get it? Is it, I like, tell me, I'm imagining like presentations, of
Mhm.
and like how there's a very traditional model of giving, and this is a new way of thinking about charity and giving of your love and your heart. Like, take me through the the there's some naysaying that I think go on, that like, how do we handle those that think,
Yeah, well, look, there's always going to be, I think, people, when you're trying to do something completely new, you're always going to have an element of that. But what I always try and focus on when explaining this to people is, like, in a normal charity, a normal sort of non-profit, something that you would support, you do something good for someone that needs help, right? And you feel good about that. And that's sort of where the relationship ends. And it works fine. It's been working for a long time. But I think that I think that we need to reimagine charity, and we need to think outside the box and find ways that that can actually grow exponentially faster than the problem, because otherwise we're never going to really solve anything. It's just going to be band-aid solutions. And so if you look at a traditional giving model, like uh, versus what we're doing, you know, there's a couple of main points. One is that usually people in poverty, if you've heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs,
Right.
they're always focused on the bottom layer, which is just your basic needs. And the idea is you can't really focus on the things leading up to self-actualization at the top of the pyramid, because all your energy is focused on trying to put food on the table and
Yeah.
provide for your family. So this flips that on its head, because what it actually does is by teaching them self-actualization and taking care of their internal world, they're earning a living that is actually much better than they could earn right now if they even had a job in these communities. So that's one really big difference. Um, the second thing is from the perspective of the donor or the person who is in the experiment. So essentially, whoever joins our experiment is signing up to contribute regularly to supporting these communities. But what they're actually getting is they're getting all the love back. So they're getting meditated on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for an entire year in huge numbers. Like when we're fully subscribed, it could be in excess of 1 million meditations a month coming to the people in the experiment, right? So you're still doing all the good that you would do if you were to, let's say, going with a traditional charity model, right? You still
Hmm.
get to help a community in need, you get to lift them out of poverty. But what you're doing is you're giving them something I believe is so much more important than just the money. You're helping them change their world from the inside out.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, you imagine somebody that's living in poverty who is already in a poor country, but they're at the bottom of the heap in their poor country. They don't have support from government. They feel sort of neglected. They feel unlucky. They feel like they've been dealt a poor hand in life. You imagine what it would do for them when we go back to these communities and they're not only able to provide for their families, but we go back to them and we say, hey guys, like here's a business in America who has seen incredible growth since they've been streaming love from you. Or here is a farm that's providing produce to thousands of people that has achieved a 20% growth in their, in their yield. Or here is
Hmm.
someone who is sick, who has recovered after joining the experiment and streaming your love. Now these people who really don't think they have any way out, you know, are now seeing evidence that they are changing the world. Like that is a really powerful shift for them. If you want to break the cycle of poverty, I don't think
Hmm.
you could get a more powerful way to do that than by showing them they have something valuable, and
Hmm.
we find the people around the world that need it and we organize it, we facilitate it for them. It's a massive gift for them on many levels. So it's there are many other differences between the traditional charity model and what we're doing, but I always try and just keep it to the nuts and bolts of it. It's almost like if you're going to give to a cause, like here's a great cause with like almost like a little lottery ticket that you get on the side. Is like you
Yeah.
get all this love back, and maybe, just maybe, that love coming in is going to change your life or change the life
Mm.
of somebody you love. And if that happens, how incredible is that? Because now you can go and tell your friends that they need to get love in their life. They lift more people out of poverty, they get love, and everybody works out better off. So although if you look at simply the love, the energy side and what we're trying to achieve, yeah, it's there's a lot of unknowns in it. But if you look at it that way, it's just a beautifully different way of solving a problem that doesn't look like it's going anywhere if we don't figure out a much faster solution. Now, the final thing I'll say is that once we prove and once we can show that this love changes the donors' lives in ways that we can't even begin to imagine right now, then what happens is it becomes something that people realize they need in their life. So it goes beyond like just requiring somebody to make a donation to support somebody, which there's only ever so much to be donated, because that's typically for a lot of people, it's I've got a little bit left over, I want to do something good for it. Whereas this becomes a need, right? So it becomes a need to help people out of poverty first, get love, get love
Mm.
first, have my money for love before other things, because this is super important. And so what that means is it just means that it can grow much, much faster than just trying to scale up people's giving, right? Because people want to receive something back in life. It can, why not? Why can it not be a transaction? It's all, everyone's getting what they need. And I think that's something that we've been missing in the models to this point that this could really
Yeah.
solve.
Yeah. I just had a thought around the concept of a donation. So if we're sticking to money, right? Love aside, money, a donation of money feels like this is mine, I'm giving it to you. I it 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 was someone else's. I earned it. I got however it became mine, and now I'm giving it to you. Whereas a a love, an exchange of love feels there's no ownership. There's something to be said around the exchange and just more where it's directed, that it was never, that love isn't something that you keep for yourself,
Yeah.
that it is meant to donate, it is meant to give, it is meant to be charitable with. You don't love, you do love yourself, and you do love, and that is paramount to all of this. But the true experience of being a human and becoming is experiencing love as it relates to the world around us, to the nature, the earth, to the humans that we share this with. And just to be able to very knowingly um, direct that energy, I think is, yeah, just freaking awesome. I
Yeah.
I
And,
love
and,
it.
and like one thing that I always think about too is often the first thought is, well, you can't pay for love, you can't buy love. And it's like, well, why not? Like, because love can be different things for different people. Like if you are a single mother of 13 kids, like one of the ladies in the love farms, um, who doesn't have the ability to put food on the table for her family, love for her is a job that can provide her with enough money to be able to look after them, that she can take and she can do from her home, or in a way where she can still look after the kids. That's a miracle for her. That is ultimate love for her. And the person who needs healing in the West, or wants to try putting love in their product or service in the business, I mean, they need love too, and their love for them is maybe they want to grow their business, maybe they want to heal, maybe they just want to open their phone up every day and see all the love that's flowing to them. I mean, whatever it is. So it's just about finding the fair trade.
Mm,
It becomes less about charity, which I think is where the long-term solution lies. Is we're empowering them. We're saying, hey, you're a beautiful person, and you have I know, I can see, I know you don't have education, I know you don't have this, but I see you've got a lot of love. I would love if you would share some with me. I happen to have a little bit of extra money, so I would love to help support you while you help support me. So it becomes less about a handout, less about, which is quite disempowering, really. It's like,
mm-hmm,
you're
mm-hmm,
really poor and I feel sorry for you and here's some money, versus like, wow, you have an abundance of something that I'm lacking. And I have
mm-hmm,
abundance of something that you're lacking. Let's work
mm-hmm.
together to make both our lives better. And I think that's really like that is where this gets really powerful for me. I think that's where it starts to become something that really can change the whole system.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a currency, a current, a motion to that is like your brain starts to just like, wow, the potential of this this motion is just astronomical.
Yeah, yeah. And it becomes, it then becomes sustainable too, because if it's something that you realize you can't live without, you need love, then this person now, this single mother of 12 has a job to put all her kids through school and make sure they've got food on the table. And like, I mean, that's a beautiful solution, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah. So everybody gets what they, I think I heard some a saying that if you help enough people get what they need, you'll get everything you want. And it's something about that really resonated with me. And I just realized that sometimes love is really taking care of people's needs, not the wants, right? Not the nice handbag or the this or that or the extra stuff, but surely a world where love is a currency, uh, you know, surely that kind of world would make an absolute priority that everybody's needs were taken care of. And
Hmm.
so that's what I tried to tune in with this. If you think of love as the needs that that person has in that moment, and how can you find a balance or a synergy between these people that are seemingly so disconnected,
Hmm.
wealthy businessman and a poor person and struggling to put food on the table, but there is something that connects us all. And I feel like there's a balance that if you look carefully on where they're both lacking, you can find that often the people that have the biggest lack in this area have the most abundance in the other area, and it's just
Hmm.
a matter of putting them together.
Hmm. Yeah, really deconstructing what we're told makes us different when we're so the same. I mean,
Mm.
that it really does ask us to think in just a new a new way, connect in a new way, and not new. It's always been there. It's true spirit, and returning to what truly is ours to give and receive, and to feel and to be empowered by. The world's greatest experiment.com is where all of this is being broadcast to the world, where you can find more information. And then you are on Facebook and Instagram with information and updates. Tell folks what are the next few months, what's the next year like for you, what are you working on, and what can we be looking out for?
Well, we really just launched this a couple of weeks ago.
Hmm.
Been working on it for a long time, but the world's greatest experiment works when we come together to prove. We have to have enough people that come together and go, you know what? I think this currency of love, there might be something to this. I would like to see if this can become the currency of the future, right? So what we've got is we've got two love farms in the Philippines that are ready to go. We're working with the government, the military, with the leaders of the communities, and we are subscribing people who want to be the first humans in history to stream love 24/7, right? So we've got a business experiment for individuals and an experiment for businesses. The business experiment just allows people to program, get love meditated into their product or service in a way that their customers can actually verify and see through our technology platform. So right now, what we're doing is we need enough people to sign up for the experiment to say yes, we're going to be the first to be the driving force behind getting these first love farms going and getting this flywheel of love going, so that we can show the world how it actually can work. So yeah, individuals can sign up on our website, and businesses also can book a time to have a consultation, and we can sort of let them know all the things that come with it. But
Hmm.
there's a really great way to be able to grow your business through your giving as well, which is kind of a new concept too. So yeah, what we're on a push right now to, over the next 2 to 3 months, try and fill up enough people, businesses and individuals, to commit to the experiment, so that come the start of November, we can fully roll out the first love farms. And when we're fully subscribed, we're going to be lifting over 2,000 people out of poverty in the first two love farms. But the goal is to have love farms all over the world, and to have hundreds of them or thousands of them. And all really what we need to do is just get this first one going so that we can start to share the stories of miracles, of amazing things that have happened in people's businesses or lives since they plugged into love. Plus, we get to broadcast to the world all these amazing things that are happening in the community, where this community has gone from, from poverty to meditating all day, sending love. Like, they become the world's #1 exporters of love, these communities. So the content and the kind of stuff that we'll be able to get out there once people see these going, I believe it'll go viral. And we can open up love farms as quickly as we can get companies signed up to be in the experiment, right? So everybody wins. So
Right.
yeah, that's the goal. So we're
Sign me up.
encouraging anyone, who
Yeah.
wants to be the first in the world. We would love to have you visit our site or reach out to us or sign up for the experiment, because this whole idea is about collectively putting our love together and focusing where it's needed. And by its very nature, we can't kick this experiment off without the people that want to that want to be experimented on and sent the love, right? So we need the people to have the courage and the guts, really, to go, this is a different model, but I like it. Let's try it. What's the worst that can happen? We lift some
Right.
people out of poverty, and what's the best that can happen? Well, that's what we want to find out.
Wow. Plug into love.
Yeah, yeah.
Building a love-based economy to fuel a better world.
Exactly. And I should say also that through our technology platform, once the love farm's fully up and running, everyone in the experiment is able to see the love flowing in real time. So you can see down to each individual meditation, where it came from, read about the love farmer, follow the social media journey, follow the stories of people whose lives have been transformed in these communities. So it becomes a really interactive experience too. You wake
Yeah.
up in the morning and see how much more love you receive while you're sleeping.
It's love in literally every language, across every time zone, woven through every generation, every walk of life. It feels good to love. It's felt really good to spend time with you. I cannot imagine taking on a project like this, but experiencing you've smiled through this entire conversation, just that you love your this is you. This is your baby. It's so obvious that um this is your meaning for life. It's got you, and you're not going to stop. I can't imagine you'll ever stop with this. It's awesome to witness. I
No, thank you.
appreciate
Yeah,
you.
I'm in this for life for sure. This
Yeah,
is the thing for me.
that's
So I
awesome.
appreciate you having me as well. Yeah, thank you for the great conversation.
Thank you. And I want to thank folks for listening in, for thinking out loud with me, and my guest today, Aidan Uttinger. Given how many choices we all have to spend our time, I'm honored that you're listening in. Until we visit again, go live with love and intention, and please, please, please don't let anybody fuck with your flow. Big hugs, big love. Bye, friends.